Jessica. Sup, I also go by Jet, and I'm a Reiki Master Teacher and Intuitive. And today, we have a special healing session we are working on. Hope heals. There is hope in the darkness. There is hope in the dark. So if you're new to the community, there's hope in the dark. It is all about figuring out how to make moves even when you don't necessarily know the answer or see the light. But again, this is Second Chance October, so there's always hope just beyond that horizon. So if you're new to the community, welcome babies. This is your nightly self-care routine. If you are returning, welcome back. Love you so much, and so happy that you are taking this time to take care of yourself during this self-care space. This is a space for you. You can listen along to the healing, you can journal, you can paint, you can do whatever it is that you do towards your self-care activities. It's really to just hold and facilitate a space so that you show up for yourself on your healing journey. So let's go ahead and get started. So we start our session off with a prayer. It is not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay, may I touch you? Okay. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. One more. Bonus breath. Okay, breathe in and out. Take a moment. Dear universe and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest intentions and validate information from our highest self only. Please release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So, I'm just going to start by clearing you out here and removing any of that past pain, past issues, past sadness, even the doubt, that feeling that, oh, nothing will ever change, or being stuck in a cycle. So just working through to remove that energy and to breathe into the space, this new clarity that you have for yourself. And we're going to work on building up your self-trust. That is something that we're working on this month in the Patreon community as well. So building your self-trust looks like always believing that you will figure it out, even when you don't have the answers, or even during times where it feels hopeless. Just know that even if you don't have the answer now, you will always find the answer, or it will appear to you. That's why it's important to have faith in whatever it is you believe in. I tell y'all this all the time. I'm not going to tell you what to believe in. That's your business. I'm just facilitating and holding a space for you to have that belief or non-belief. That's your business. It really is. But have faith in whatever it is that you have that connection to. And believe what someone tells them or what society says they should be is what they should be. Sometimes just wanting to fit into your family, to your friends, to your work, to groups, in love, all of these things can make us go against our instincts. But when you trust your instincts, you take a non-conventional path, a path where you might be the first one to travel, or others have traveled, but you just didn't know it. And it's not until you get to the other side of the path that you're like, wow, I'm not just the only one. I encourage you to take the path less traveled because it makes all the difference. Trust yourself. When you truly trust yourself, you will go down a weird and winding road, but on the other side, everyone on the outside looking in will be like, wow, you're really amazing for doing that. But in the moment, that same energy could be like, wow, you're really crazy for doing that. Isn't it interesting? But if you follow your instincts of what you were meant to do in this life, you will never be led astray. So many people are looking for leadership or someone to tell them what to do. That's why people get so caught up in like religions and cults, because they're too afraid to trust their instinct and they need something outside of them to tell them. Even in our space, we work on self-healing and we work on mysticism and things like that, specifically through the modality of alternative medicine, specifically Reiki. But I tell you all the time that I cannot tell you what to believe in. I can't tell you what spiritual safe in the moment or feel like, oh, I don't think I'm strong enough to be out here and figure it out. And that's okay. You build strength and you build character by getting out there and, as you go through life, getting your ass whooped. And what I mean by that is not somebody beating you up, but sometimes in life you go through things. When you want something, when you really want something, there will be obstacles, but at no point do you ever give up on yourself. Take breaks, pivot, express your emotions the way that you need to, but don't ever give up on yourself. Anything worth getting probably took a lot of endurance, okay? And I'm saying be mindful as well. I'm not telling you to push it until the wheels fall off. In fact, that's not it at all. That's being very impatient. It's when you can be disciplined, precise, consistent, and have patience that you bring into life this impact that it is that you want to bring. Now, when or if there have been times in your life of sadness, pain, stagnation, and hopelessness, understand that you made it and you figured it out, and you always figure it out. Even if in this moment you find yourself in that vibrational state, understand that you are going to make it and you are going to figure it out. That nothing that you experience or have experienced is enough to take you out. Nothing that you will go through is enough to stop your story. As long as you keep pushing, you will push through. And trust your instinct. So many times people get very small and push themselves down and feel sadness, not because they're working towards something. That's kind of rare when someone's working towards something and they just feel bad. It's when they're going against their instinct and they're working towards another person's vision that they don't feel connected to, or they're working towards something that other people are telling them, or their perception of what they think others want from them, that make them feel so, small in a tight ball. When instead you want to blossom and or bloom into your journey and into your experience. Don't be afraid to show up for yourself. Don't be afraid to figure it out. Don't be afraid to jump up each and every day and say, it doesn't matter what I did yesterday. Today I'm going to do this. And live each second and each moment with the fullness of the miracle of your life. And you also have to let go of any baggage from the past, especially when it comes to those connections that you have. I'm going to give a little bit of wisdom when it comes to forgiveness and forgiving people. If you had the type of upbringing where, your parents maybe didn't give you the best upbringing for whatever reason, or you had difficult relationships with your parents, which then is translated into difficult relationships with people in your life, understand that no longer is that an excuse for you to not go out and share what your soul wants to share with the world. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I had some reflection about generations and how things shift generationally. For example, my generation and younger has a greater access to higher education than in previous generations. So it's likely that more people will go through that process of higher education, but not so much longer before. It was much harder access to self-care, understand that you're more than likely, or you more than likely have more access to the benefit of mental health support and awareness. It's not so long ago that, your parents, depending on, your generation, and your parents' did not have that same access to information that you do. So if you find that your parents are stuck and they don't understand how to treat you, in a non-toxic way, you feel like you're breaking generational curses, you feel like you're trying to let go of other people's baggage, you feel stuck in your family systems, you have to have some compassion towards them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have boundaries, and I'm not even saying that you shouldn't cut a couple people out, that don't know how to act, but also understand that how lucky are you that you know enough to value your mental support, your mental health care, and they can't. If you ever felt like you had to parent people around you and take care of yourself at the same time, have compassion for the fact that as they went through their process, they didn't have that. Just think about it. Think about it not so long ago. Your grandparents probably lived in generations where people, stayed in toxic marriages because look at society. There still wasn't equity. People of color, women in general, LGBTQIA, all of these different marginalized groups still did not have equity. Society normalized the dysfunction and having to stick with it. So that's kind of what they grew up believing. So nowadays, when I'm not going to stay in something toxic, it's new. I mean, there were people back then who figured it out, but majority, it's new. So have compassion and patience and understand that, as you are forgiving the past, letting it go and no longer letting it limit the life that you want to live and the life that you have and hold. Understand that just you being and setting an example is what will ultimately heal your lineage and heal those there. If you didn't have it, but you desire to be it, go and be it. You didn't really need an example. You're figuring it out. But that's just my little tidbit of tea I wanted to share, because a lot of times people don't live up to their fullest potential because they're holding on to old baggage that started way back when. Just work through it. Let it go. Get the type of support that you need along your journey. And remember, you don't gotta take everybody with you, but you can be compassionate towards the fact that some people are stuck. So just breathing through this, exhaling, and moving through this energy. My intention is always to channel messages for the highest vibrational good, but also to validate any feelings that you have been having. If you ever feel small, but you're meant for something bigger, that you understand, yes, you are meant for something bigger. That if you ever feel helpless, that there is hope. Yes, there is hope. That if you ever feel stuck, you will figure out how to get out. Yes, you will do that. Just wanting to share that with you always. Well, family, I really enjoyed this session. Wanted to share what was on my heart in the space. And I want you to go out there and do the beautiful things you feel you are meant to do. Taking your time, but most importantly, trusting yourself. I enjoyed our time together. If you would like even more support, you can join our Mystical Self